Right. Here we
What's up,
go.
guys? Welcome. Wanted to jump on here with Tanner and try to get out another video, podcast, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're tuning in on, just so that we can provide you guys some more value, hopefully. And if you are having any questions, hopefully we can help solve those. Or if not, feel free to reach out and let us know what you are having help with so that we can. But today we wanted to touch on a topic that we've been seeing a lot lately. And, we were kind of thinking about what we would do if we started over in the real estate business. So, we're going to kind of talk about that, why we would do it, what we would do, and why. So, welcome. Tanner boy, what's up, bro?
What's up, everybody? Yeah, so we'll touch a little bit on agents, wholesalers, kind of the benefits of both, what you might learn, and how much money you might make on doing both, So we'll just kind of jump in and go over some of the points we've written down.
Yeah, so definitely when I started, I tried to get my license once when I was like 18, I think, and then I let my course expire because I wasn't really focused on it. And then my mom is an agent, so that's kind of where I got my influence from. But yeah, so I tried to get it, didn't end up getting it. And then fast forward a couple of years, ended up getting my license, started as an agent, regular agent selling houses on the market, helping buyers buy and sellers sell. And, I learned a lot. I learned like how to prospect over the phones, phone prospecting right away. My first mentor threw me on the phones right away, which was good and beneficial, I think, listening to them and being there and hearing it and just doing it. But yeah, agent for about 3 strong years, seen wholesaling was getting big, and said, let's focus on that. Tanner joined up with me, and we were doing, pretty much real estate lead stuff, Zillow leads, buyers, seller stuff. And then, we were just talking over it and said wholesaling is, the route to go right now, for multiple reasons, not just because, you can make big checks with it, but there's a lot of benefits we think, to it. And don't get me wrong, you can do both. So that's what we're also going to go over, is how you can do both, make both
Absolutely
work. And
that's what I've been doing. I mean, I've kind of been in the game a little over a year now, jumped into both pretty much at the same time, license and wholesale, and to tackle both beasts at once. So I kind of got a good view on both of them from the start at the same time, and kind of had to grow in both at the same rate, which kind of gave me a good perspective on what's easier to learn, what's easier to do more, and in the long run, which one we kind of think is the best pursuit for first starting, at least.
Absolutely. I think starting and to like long-term investing, like if that's your end goal, is to be, a landlord or to own units, or to be a flipper one day, I think going with wholesaling route is going to be beneficial because you learn, the transaction really quickly. It's like as is deals. The deals are usually within like a week or 2 or 3, where you can see the whole transaction played out very quick. And a lot of times you're dealing with, the seller and the buyer side with the wholesale. If you have your wholesale, your cash buyers that you're disposing it to right away, you kind of deal with both parties at once. So it kind of like you said, kind of gives you the transaction process right there very quickly.
Yeah.
So
and just to touch on that, not only are you, dealing with both buyers and sellers, but you're also kind of the front man on any of the deals. So you get a lot of experience evaluating projects. You really have to own up to your numbers and zone in that process of, getting how much you can pay, what the repair costs will be, ARV, everything like that, because at the end of the day, if those numbers aren't accurate and you don't know what you're talking about, your buyers aren't going to want to buy. Your deals won't line
It's
up.
not going to be a deal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
The last thing you want to do is, go through all the work of getting it in writing and, sending it out to your buyers and stringing your seller along just to find out that you've got it locked in way too high for any investor.
exactly. It's almost more
Yeah.
important than being able to talk to the sellers, because like I'm kind of making a note here. Like number one should almost be like being able to break down a deal and be able to, show what you should be able to lock the deal in at for whatever reasons, because of the condition or whatever. Because like you said, if you go in and tell the seller that you're going to give them 200 and it's worth 200 ARV, you shot yourself in the foot there. No one's going to want it. So you're wasting time there. You might get yourself into predicaments with sellers. You might have to cancel deals, which no one likes doing. So I think that's really important, is being able to break down, underwrite the deal as a long-term investor, because there's certain percentages that you want to be around, where if the market goes south, you're still in a position that you're still positive if you have to sell, or if you end up holding, you're still not going to drop below that certain percentage, hopefully, right? So that's kind of where you, as a long-term investor, you want to be able to find these deals at a good price and break them down numbers wise with the seller and make sure that it makes sense for both the seller and your cash buyer, or yourself as a flipper, if you're at that stage. So I think talking to sellers too, as a wholesaler, is a little bit easier, I would say, than as an agent, because like when I was an agent, I had to learn all these scripts on the listing presentation, how to be really proper at the appointment, first how to set the appointment and then go and then pre-qualify them and then go and, go through this script on the listing presentation with the huge listing agreement that's like 10 pages long. And then like, you got to like have them either sign if they trust you right there, or read it like word for word if you don't know what you're talking about, whereas like a wholesale contract is 1 page, 2 pages, you could easily learn that, or you could easily learn how to talk to sellers, I think, a lot easier than, maybe pushing for a listing or an on market. Yeah.
Now we could maybe go through some of the benefits and or the pros and cons of wholesaling, and then go through agents.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, as far as wholesaling goes, I'm sure most people have heard you don't need any sort of licenses. So that's kind of one of the key benefactors as far as the speed to entering the field goes. All you need to do is pick up a phone and start making calls.
As an investor.
Yeah, you can make that direct contact with clients. We do recommend starting an LLC for any wholesalers. It'll just protect you in some cases. It kind of keeps you and your business separate, any of the offers that you're writing out. But no licensing fees, and as far as LLC cost goes, is usually generally pretty cheaper than anything you need to pay to get your real estate license, which also comes with fees you got to pay monthly, yearly, quarterly, stuff like that. So those do add up sometimes.
Yeah, I also think that the fees for an agent are more than the fees for a wholesaler. Even if you were to subscribe to like PropStream and all these stuff that you need to run comps and stuff, if you don't have your license, it's still less than the cost of an agent.
Absolutely.
Which is not that much at the end of the day. Like, we're not knocking any agents or anything. Like, we still sell houses on the market and help buyers buy, but just comparing the two, it's a little bit less for wholesalers. So you can start an LLC for like $300-$400 online, and you're ready to go.
Exactly.
Another point we would say would be like a percentages that you have to pay to your broker if you're an agent. An agent brokerage is going to ask you to pay them a percentage from each deal to cover you for, your legal fees, your desk fees, whatever fees that they have for you there.
Yeah.
So they're going to
And
take
whether-
anywhere from what, 5, if someone takes 5%, that's really low, but I would say probably close if you're starting anywhere from 35 to 25%,
Yeah.
of your deals, which is a lot.
Most of the big name brokerages are going to be between 20 to 35% of your commission. Anybody small or local, they might do, a one like a
Transaction
limited
fee.
fee. Yeah, transaction fee, which could be anywhere from $3 to $1,000 per transaction. But they don't have all of the same benefits as some of those larger brokerages. So there's different variations in cost and price and on the agent side as well, depending on what brokerage you go with, but those also come with different levels of,
Training.
help and training and resources at your dispense. So yeah. Yeah, and touching on that as well, as far as comparing wholesaling to just being a general agent, being a general agent, you're going to be capped on the amount of money you can pull from each deal. It generally ranges from 1 to 3.5% usually on most deals, which is before your brokerage commission. Whereas wholesaling, you name your own fee, so
Yeah.
whatever you can work into the deal, whether that be 5, 10, 15, 20, $100,000, even more. Sometimes it just also comes down to your negotiating skills, what your seller's looking for, what your buyer's willing to pay.
Condition.
And the condition. Yeah. If you can really find those beat down houses that need a lot of work, tends to be that you can lock them in for quite a low number and secure quite a large finder's fee, wholesaler's fee, whatever you want to call it, on those deals.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's pretty much one of the huge benefits that we saw. We were doing like so much more work with some of our on-market clients, and those would end up not closing or something for all the stress for like 5 to 8 grand or something. I'm just giving numbers out, but where wholesaling, you can make hopefully triple that on one deal if the numbers are right. So there's
deal
that.
with a lot less problems.
A lot less problems, yeah, and that's what we're gonna kind of transfer into is like the as-is transactions. You can usually with the wholesaling, with the fixing and flipping, these transactions are as is. So it says in our contract, once we see it with our own eyes or we confirm that we did, we're good to go on it. It's as is. So we should be closing that deal within the week at that point, unless the seller needs some time to move or whatever the circumstance is. Whereas you can negotiate transactions like this as an agent, but you have to be the one that brings the deal, that has the buyer, that has all the terms. Where if you're just going into it helping your buyers buy a home or helping a seller sell to a regular buyer, there's time frames, there's timelines, there's contingency periods within the transaction that you have to abide by, that can end up making or breaking a deal. A lot of times a request for repairs is what breaks a deal after someone's done their home inspection, and either the seller has to repair it or give them funds for that, or the deal is over. And as a wholesaler, our transactions are as is. So if anything, you're going to maybe ask for a price reduction after seeing the property, and that's it. You're not going to ask them to repair anything or do anything like that, because there's not, you're going to do it all, or someone else is. So that was one of the benefits. As is transactions, when you see it, it's ours. They're happy with the price, everything's good, it's locked in, it's a done deal. That happens within a week or two. Whereas agent transactions, that could happen within after 2 weeks, up to 3 weeks. If the loan doesn't go, loan contingency is 21 days, 3 weeks into a transaction, and then you're canceling. That's not fun for anybody, the buyer, the agent. So that's definitely it. Anything else that you can think of?
The only point I might have had left is that, as far as getting started in either, Um, yeah, like we said, there are licenses and classes and tests you have to take to become an agent, which in the long run are not that difficult or not
No,
entirely too time consuming.
it,
So
it's different for everybody too, bro. I mean,
absolutely,
there's some
yeah,
people that that prefer to be an agent rather than a
absolutely,
wholesaler or a fix and flipper because some people just want to deal with nice properties,
mhm,
and showing their clients nice properties on the market, turnkey stuff, seeing them
absolutely,
smile and whatnot, which is amazing,
yeah,
um but when you're a wholesaler, you have to communicate and find properties that need a lot of work, are in really bad condition. The seller may be going through some things or have some issues, and you have to work through this stuff where it takes, some skill and some level of patience to deal with some of these situations. So, it's not for everybody, so keep that in mind. We still do both. We love both. But yeah, that's what we would do if we were to start over. Wholesale route, straight to the money. Um,
absolutely.
learn the transaction really quick, A to Z, really fast. Shorter transactions, you learn how to break down deals as a long-term investor. So I think that's like extremely important, for the
Yeah,
long
yeah,
term, long term goal. Because you don't get into real estate just to pop 60,000, 100,000 in a year. You get into it to become an investor, to buy real estate, to acquire doors so that we could all have the freedom and retire when we want, right? And still have the passive
passive
income
income.
coming in. Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
the
you could
goal.
be on the beach, right? Chilling and with your family and not worrying about anything. So, you
Oh,
gotta you
there's
gotta look at as a long-term investor. You can't just think, I'm gonna get in and get rich quick, because it may seem that way and it may be easy and you may be able to jump in and pop a deal quick, and that's great. But you got to keep the mindset of keep working, whether the results are coming in or not, because, you know, they may be not coming in for months. And then that next month, you're going to get 5 results, or 5 deals or whatever it is. So, you got to
absolutely.
stay strong. Mindset is huge.
The only last point off of something that you just said when you mentioned you want to be on the beach, that's another benefit of wholesaling. You can wholesale from anywhere. You can potentially even virtual wholesale the whole process. You don't actually even need to show up at all to the property. It's happened before. We tend to like to see them ourselves, just because we've worked locally in most of our
In
deals in
our
the
market.
past. But that being said, you could make calls from anywhere in the world, get these deals locked in, a DocuSign,
Yep.
even if you want to get eyes on the property, you can find someone with boots on the ground nearby and put on a small fee, call up a home inspector even, and just have them
Make
out
friends with
there.
agents in their market over
Yeah,
there,
make friends with agents in the market. They'd always be willing to.
tap them in when
Exactly.
you
Looking to
fix or
sell
flip or
later.
whatever,
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, I want you to go check out this property. We potentially want to flip it later, and you could help us list it in your market when the time comes.
Mhm.
So yeah, whereas when you're an agent, you got to be around, you got to be open to showing houses to your buyers, showing your sellers properties to potential buyers, all that stuff. So
And max, you're gonna get 25% referral fee if you send someone over there, another agent lead,
yeah,
which is not that much,
exactly.
quarter of what
Exactly.
you'd be making as an agent. So you do the math,
No,
but yeah, that's a good point. You could do that virtually. That's a great point. Good
absolutely.
point to finish up on, because I get questions about that a lot. Whether it is possible to do it. It is very possible. A lot of people are prospecting in our market from Florida, Texas, out of state, and we're doing that too. We're in other markets right now. We're starting to tap into other states, and the sky's the limit. So,
There is no limit in real estate. That's the beautiful thing.
oh,
Ask anybody, any successful real estate investor will tell you there's no limit in real estate. It's one of the beautiful things about it.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
and it's nice too, because every single day you could wake up and pop a new deal, and it
exactly.
changes everything. You know,
Exactly.
so Heck yeah. Well,
Cool.
with that being said, if you guys have any additional questions or want to reach out to me and Tanner, my Instagram is probably going to be the best way to reach out. It's dannylee.re. And Tanner.
Mine's Tanner, TANNER _Peery, PEERY. Can reach out to either of us. We're always available for questions, concerns, anything you might have. If you guys want to send us deals, have us look at anything, you know, we're more than happy to partner or bring more people onto our team. So yeah.
Yeah, just so you guys know, our market where we're at is Southern California, Inland Empire, Redlands, California area to be specific, Riverside, anywhere around here, you know, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, Orange County, Los Angeles, all the counties locally. And we have a lot of partners out of state too, you know, Texas, Carolinas, New York,
upstate New York. Yeah.
Really everywhere, Arizona. So feel free to reach out. We love to connect with you guys. And until then, we will see you guys soon.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.